Hey there friends, it's Cassie. Welcome back for another Trinity Stamps video. Today I am going to be making a cozy beverage card. So I have brought in the coffee mug card die. I love this die, it's been around for a minute, but there's also this add-on you can get. I'm not going to use it today, but I do love that they have that. We're also going to be using these tiny little mugs. And then I have this stamp set. I'm covering up this bottom one because it's actually retired. But I'm going to be using the graham cracker alphabet dies because they're fabulous. I want to use the snowflakes from our little polar party stamp set because they're just perfect. And there are dies to go along with that as well. And then I thought I'd do something funny by bringing in this Insider Sentiments Valentine's set. So yes, it's all geared towards Valentine's, but some of those sentiments would work really well to call your coffee. And you'll see when I show you the one that I end up using. There's just so many fun ones in there. You could do it for just about anything. Instead of saying Valentine, you could say coffee. And so that's kind of what I'm going with. And there are some dies to go along with that, but I'm not going to be using those today. And then I'm going to use some Nouveau Gold Gilding Flakes. All right, I also wanted to share that I brought in my color cube, and this is the color palette I decided to go with. I thought this one was nice and kind of cozy. Just the colors alone, coffee, a little bit of blue to go with our winter theme. And so that's what I'm using. All right, let's jump into it. I've die cut the coffee cup or the coffee mug card die out of some white cardstock, and I have brought in some Speckled Egg Distress ink along with one of my blending buddies, and I'm just gonna kind of do a little bit of an ombre starting at the bottom. So when you're doing that, you go heavy-handed at the bottom and you kind of bring it up into the white, and I'm just keeping that mostly to the bottom or the lower half, and I'll just keep blending that across even the bit of the handle as well. I just thought that was a pretty color. And you'll notice I do have those Blizzard Snowflake confetti embellishments off to the side. I don't end up using them, but they are really pretty and they would have worked really well on this card also. All right, so I'm happy with the blending. So I'm going to put that ink away, clean up my mess, and then we can move on to the next part, which is bringing in some of this tear tape. I haven't used my Nouveau Gold gilding flakes or any gilding flakes in a long time, and I just thought that this would be a lot of fun to do. So as you'll notice, I'm tracing the top of my die onto this tear tape. Just kind of marking the edges. It doesn't have to be perfect because what I want is a rounded edge. The rounded edge will kind of go along more with the 3D effect of this type of a card, and you'll see what I'm talking about as we go along. So I'm going to cut 2 of those because is it necessary for me to do the back of the card? Absolutely not. It isn't. But I wanted to. So I did. So yeah, I do some of the folding on the gilding on the front and the back. All right. So I'm also going to cut out a bunch of, well, I already cut them out. I already die cut out a bunch of coffee cups in various colors. They're kind of more along that like yellow, orange, dark, mustardy color. And I wasn't sure how many I would need, so I cut a bunch of them. And we're going to do some of that gilding on those as well. But I peeled off the release paper on one of the edges of our tear tape. And now I'm just going to trim off the excess going around the coffee cup. Because obviously I didn't have it completely perfect, which is fine. And then I'll do it on the other side as well. Again, don't need to do it on the back, but I just wanted to give it the continuous look of a coffee cup. And there's no real right or wrong way to do this. So once again, just trimming around the coffee cup as well, just getting rid of the excess. All right. Before I peel off any of the release paper and do the gilding, I want to die cut out all the letters that I need for the words coffee. And then as I said, there are a couple of sentiments in there that would just work so perfectly if you wanted to tell your coffee, like something that would be cute and snarky on a coffee mug. So the way I'm going to have it is I've picked the sentiment that says the best things in life are better because of you. So it's like I'm an homage to coffee. Coffee, the best things in life are better because of you. Now, clearly that is meant for your Valentine, but like I said, let's be kind of fun with this. Because that's the kind of thing I'd want on my coffee mug. All right, using my glass mat, I'm going to kind of line those letters up on there. And you'll notice I have some like mint tape or some Post-it tape in my left hand. Didn't work out perfectly the first time because I didn't get the middle letters, but I did get the C-O and the E-E, and I'm lining those up there, and they're not going to be totally perfect, but that's kind of the neat thing about this graham cracker alphabet die. The letters are not perfect. I like that. So they're super cute, and so all I'm doing now is I am putting little dots of glue on the letters, on the back of the letters. They're connected to that Post-it tape, and then I'm just going to use this and stick that down on top of my mug, kind of push that down, make sure everything's on there, and then I can peel off that Post-it tape. And they're not perfect, but they look cute. I like them. I'm happy. Just kind of moving those up just a little bit, but otherwise I'm pretty happy. And now I'm going to use my Misty to stamp out the sentiment. So once again, that sentiment is the best things in life are better because of you. And I'm going to put this in my Misty because I just want to make sure that I stamp it out like bold. So I'm bringing in some Weeping Willow ink, which is a dark brown ink from Simon Hurley Create. Just going to stamp that a couple of times. We'll ink it up once, stamp it down, and it actually looks pretty good, but I go ahead and stamp it one more time just to make it a little bit darker. And then I can clean up my mess and put the rest of that away. Before we do the gold gilding, I decide I want to do it on these little cups as well. So I just have a strip of that tearaway tape. And so I'm just sticking the very top edges of each of the coffee mugs on top of there. And then I can trim those down. And you'll see I'm just lining those up. And then I can, like I did for the main coffee cup, I'll just trim off all the excess. So just going around that. Now that those are ready, we're going to bring in a scrap piece of like computer paper, and that's going to catch the extra. So I'll peel off the release paper on our big one, and I'm going to use some tweezers to pull in the big pieces and just kind of set those down. If you've never worked with this stuff before, it's absolutely beautiful, and it's paper thin is not even the way to do it. Like tissue thin isn't even, I mean, you can't see through it, but this stuff is very easy to tear, which is not a big deal because you're just going to push it on there anyway and kind of burnish it in. And the look is just, it's different than embossing powder. It has this, I can't explain it. It just looks really cool. Almost like this overlapped paper look. And we're just going to keep putting in pieces, like we'll kind of push it around with our fingers, and then you can kind of just rub it around and it'll fill in some of the spots. And where it doesn't fill in the spots, then you can grab some more. But it easily tears with just the touch of your finger, basically. And you'll notice there's a couple spots where I could still use a little bit extra. So I'll just put that in there and burnish it down. And a paintbrush, like a dry, not a stiff one, but a dry paintbrush would work really well for this also. And we've got the same thing going on for the tops of our little coffee mugs, our tiny mugs. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Peel off that release paper and burnish the color in there, or the little flakes in there. And then once those are done, we can just kind of get rid of the excess, dump that onto that scrap piece of paper. And then whatever's left over can go right back in the container. And these are fairly big containers. They don't weigh anything, but they are pretty big containers. So perfect. All right. And now I'm going to I did die cut out the coffee little top part out of some dark brown, and I'm going to put that on the top of the coffee mug. And now you can kind of get what I was going for, that 3D effect of the coffee mug. Should I have put it on the back too? Probably, but I didn't do that. So here we are. And now I'm arranging the coffee mugs, how I'm going to put them on there. And I'm going to use my glass mat to kind of line things up. More eyeballing than anything else. But I am kind of paying attention to the line that I've started at and trying to go along that same line all the way across. But just using a little bit of liquid glue. This is a fun coffee mug. And one of the things I just really love about this die set is the idea of just designing your own coffee mugs all the time with stamps. How fun is that? Or dies in this case. So I've used the one sentiment stamp, but the rest is just die cutting. And that's always fun. And again, could have completely skipped doing anything on the back. But now that I see that back, I feel like I should go back and put one of the the little coffee ovals in the center so that that looks cohesive. And then now I'm just going to trim off the excess because I did want those to kind of go off the coffee mug because that gives the illusion that there's more going on, or at least that it's wrapping around the coffee mug. And so once I'm done trimming off all of that excess, the coffee mug will be ready to go. I love it. I think it looks fun. But I didn't want to stop there. I did decide to bring in that Polar Party stamp set, and I'm just using 2 of the snowflakes. There's 3 in there, and I'm inking it up with our Speckled Egg Distress ink, which isn't good for stamping. It's not like that's formulated for stamping, but I didn't need it to be perfect. One, they're snowflakes, and they're supposed to be more of a background, so I didn't care. And I'm stamping on what I've blended, and it just looks cute. So this gives you that cute, like, winter cozy coffee mug look to go along with our theme this week of cozy coffee creations. So there's some alliteration for you. And then I'll just do a few more. And then this is where I've decided, no, we don't need to add any of the Blizzard Snowflake confetti. And if you like fun and snarky and a little bit of play off of, you know, like I did here, Valentine, but I'm talking to my coffee, go through your stamps and see what you can find. Because I really enjoyed doing this. And now I want to show you what it looks like compared to the color cube card that I pulled out. I think it looks pretty close, and I thought it was a lot of fun to do. So if you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button. Definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.